Hello, this is Father Michael Nasser coming to you from St. Nicholas Orthodox Church here in Grand Rapids, Michigan for this week's Midweek Reflection. And this week I'm reflecting on unity and division. Now, it's sort of become just the way we talk about it. We say we live in divided times, in a divisive environment. And it's true, and there's all kind of reasons for it. And there's a lot of things that we really can't do anything about the inputs we get. But there are certain things we can do with how we respond to being in divisive times. And that is something I think is really important that I don't hear talked about a lot, which is why I wanted to share that with you today. And that is, how do we focus not on what divides us, but what unites us? And I'm going to talk specifically mostly about what unites us as Christians. There are Christians, of course, of different traditions. Some people say denominations. That's a little bit tricky in terms of understanding Christian unity and division. But let's just say there are groups of Christians that are not in communion. We are not in communion with the Catholic Church and the Protestant churches and the other churches, even some of the Orthodox churches we are not in communion with. And yet, the world wants us to accentuate everything that divides us from anybody else. But we don't have to do that. One of the things that we can do, all of us, in our personal relationships, communal relationships, any kind of relationships, is focused first not what divides us, but what unites us. As Christians, there's a lot that unites us, and I understand there's doctrinal differences, and no, if you're tempted to call me an ecumenist or say that I'm trying to glaze over differences, I'm not. But the fact that we jump on anybody who tries to find common ground tells us that we all have to be careful about falling into this drive towards division. There's a lot that unites all of us. When Jesus sat down and ate with the harlots and the publicans, those who were criticized because they were saying, you're so different. You can't be with those people. Jesus had all kinds of things he didn't share with them, but all kinds of things he did share with them, including love for them. So I think it is a principle of our Christian faith, a principle of love that says we should be looking for things that unite us. No, we shouldn't glaze over the differences. No, we shouldn't pretend they're not there. But knowing that they're there and acknowledging they're there, there's still a lot that unites us. And I think we don't exclude the differences, but I think if we focus on what unites us, then we get to the kind of world a little closer to the way Jesus would have us live. Now, the world doesn't like that. And I would even say the internet world especially, and I'll even point out internet orthodoxy. There's a lot of areas of internet orthodoxy that really want to highlight differences and criticize everyone else. And maybe their criticisms are well-founded, but the fact that so much of what is seen these days on the internet from orthodoxy is critical of others. I'm not saying we shouldn't say those things. There are times to say it. But do we have to exclude all the things that unite us? And can we say what we want to say about others with love? So whether it's as groups of Christians or just our relationships, I think all of us could take a page out of Jesus's book, out of the Gospels, and say, we really should be focusing not so much immediately on what divides us. Again, there's a time and place, but let's put our emphasis on what unites us. What we're going to find is that there's a lot that we share in common with non-Orthodox Christians, with non-Christians, with atheists, with all kinds of people that believe very different things from us. And yes, there's a lot of things that are different, but there are a lot of things that do unite us that we don't spend nearly enough time looking at, celebrating, and acting on. So I just want to reflect on that and encourage all of us to be looking for those opportunities to see commonalities and not jump to the divisions, not jump to all the ways that distinguish us, but look at the ways that actually we have in common with all kinds of people around us. And I think if we do that again, that's the kind of life that Jesus is calling us to live, and it's more blessed for us to live. So I hope you'll share that if you found that helpful. And God willing, we'll see you in next week's video.